I am Reverend Ray Green Jr., the Executive Director of the Freedom Bloc. And we are here today because we have witnessed the murder of Jayland Walker. That murder of Jayland Walker by the Akron Police Department and the leadership of Akron has caused for our city to activate their right for civil disobedience. This civil nonviolent disobedience has been met with nothing but violence from the APD and the leadership of this city. We want to be able to give you the real stories today about what's really happening on the ground in the city of Akron. We're going to hear from Dee McCall, who's been on the ground every single day since this has happened, to tell you about her experience and what she's been witnessing and what she's been seeing. She's a member of the Freedom Bloc. We're going to hear from Ben Gifford, who's a member of DSA, who's also been in several protests. He's going to tell you about his experience. We're going to hear from Minister Stephen Muhammad, who's a prominent leader in this city. He's going to talk to you about what the leadership in this city needs to do, but also his experience and what needs to happen going forward. And we're going to hear from Brother Zombie, an activist in this community, who's also been on the ground. And then we're going to have a list of demands for the city that hopefully we could get some things resolved in this city. And if not, then we'll go from there. At this time, I introduce to you Dee McCall.
Hello, everyone. As far as on the ground efforts, I've been seeing the increase in police presence that has been getting more aggressive. Just from the beginning where the family was protesting to the friends to the community, it has been an increase of police violence and aggression. I have personally witnessed the peaceful protesters being tear gassed. I've also seen families being pepper sprayed and also beaten just for peacefully protesting. Yes. As a peaceful protest, we have seen militarized SWAT vehicles and just the aggression in how they're even presenting themselves to the community. It doesn't seem as though they're trying to protect and serve the community. It seems as though they are waging war against the community. And the community is not happy with anything that's happening. We have had protesters that has been arrested that were peacefully protesting, and thus far we have had over 30 signature bonds and paid over $3,000 in bail. Out of 19 people, we have paid 13 people's bail from the protesters, and this is only the beginning. So we just really seek accountability for what is actively happening, because we have not had any information from the mayor nor from the police chief, and the community just wants to know what is going on.
Thank you, Dee. My name is Ben Gifford. I'm the finance chair for the Akron chapter of Democratic Socialists of America. I wanted to briefly share with you what some of us have endured while exercising our First Amendment rights to peacefully organize and protest. This is to say nothing of those who have been tear gassed, arrested, and or brutalized for speaking their piece. Today I'm just going to relate the events of Monday afternoon, July 4th. Starting at around noon, about 100 of us gathered in North Hill to peacefully march to the mayor's house. We had a list of reasonable demands we wanted to hand to deliver, and we planned to ask the mayor to make a statement if he were home and answered the door. We were a group of concerned residents exercising direct democracy. As we proceeded down North Howard, we chanted with a combination of grief, frustration, and anger. Grief over the senseless, brutal, and very much preventable killing of Jayland Walker. Frustration that the city had mostly remained silent and offered nothing beyond a cursory, "we'll wait for the investigation." And anger that this is part of an ongoing pattern of police brutality with little or no accountability. That the night before on Sunday, Akron Police had deployed tear gas, which is a chemical weapon that's banned from use in warfare, which, by the way, they've continued to use this week. Regardless, we intended to be peaceful and purposeful, and our chants resonated. We heard cheers of support from neighbors on their porches, some of whom joined in our march. We added a few cars passing by who supported us with their horns, and the mood was lifting. This changed when the front of the march reached the bend in the road. Reports started coming back that we were about to run into the police. Not knowing exactly what to expect, we pressed on with caution, tightening our ranks. A little while later, frantic shouts started coming from the rear of the group. I turned to see a massive armored vehicle tailing us. The kind you might expect to see in a war zone, not on Akron city streets.
Right.
After briefly stopping behind the other vehicles on the road, this tank mounted the curb with ease and closed the distance between us. The mayor's lawn was full of cops, outfitted like soldiers, wearing tactical gear and holding assault rifles, and the mood was tense. Those holding copies of our demands bravely stepped toward the Devil Strip to leave them on the mayor's lawn. Our messages left, we turned to head back as a second tank drove across the lawns in front of us, with even more soldier cops filing out. We came with pieces of paper, they came with guns and body armor and tanks. Mayor Horrigan showed us all how little he thinks of us that day, how he was willing to spend our public tax dollars to deploy a small army and flex his strongman tactics on his own private property, like he had some sort of cartel instead of a medium-sized Midwest city. But we won't be deterred. Protesters have stayed in the streets, and they will stay in the streets. What we're going to present here today, some of it may seem radical, but we do need to radically rethink our approach to policing. Otherwise, the APD, at the behest of policies set forth by the mayor, the safety director, and the rest of city council, will keep injuring and killing the people who live here, particularly if they're black or brown. We know we can't get there immediately, but we can start to get there immediately. Let's do the research, let's listen to the community, let's write the policies, let's negotiate in good faith to make real changes to our police and to our justice system to improve this city. Thank you.
Greetings to you. My name is Minister Stephen Muhammad, Akron representative of the Nation of Islam, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, also a member of a coalition for a safe community. The Coalition for a Safe Community came into existence after the police killing of one of our young brothers, Demetrius Vincent, back in 2007. From Demetrius Vincent to Jeffrey Stevens, all the way up to Raphael Thomas, to today's most recent victim, Jalen Walker. We stay in the same position. The victim brutalized and murdered by law enforcement. And this relationship, this toxic relationship, has to end. We stand with Ray Green and the Freedom Bloc and his list of demands. We find them to be true, and we hope that the city of Akron will also take a necessary look at what we are asking on behalf of the citizens. In the Holy Quran, which is a law book, I want to share a verse from the second surah as it relates to retaliation. And this speaks to the protesters and their right to say, "Don't kill me anymore." O you who believe, retaliation is prescribed for you in the matter of the slain. The free for the free, the slave for the slave, and the female for the female. But if remission is made to one by his aggrieved brother, prosecution for bloodwit should be according to usage, and payment to him in a good manner. In short, we want the city of Akron to do the right thing, not only by Jalen Walker, but also by the black community, the poor and oppressed, and most importantly and currently, those protesters who have a right to voice their disagreement with local government. My good friend and brother, Jacob Blake Sr., traveled from North Carolina to be here to show support for the Walker family. He brought in Bianca Austin, who also is a member of the Breonna Taylor family. We all are familiar with that police shooting, to show support for the Walker family and those who are struggling to end this kind of brutality across the country. And last night, they both were arrested, and Jacob right now, who has health concerns, is in a hospital. We're waiting for a phone call to find out how he's doing and if he's okay, and we're demanding that the mayor and police chief, but the mayor specifically, release all of those who have been arrested for peacefully protesting. Send them home to their families so we can get about the business of talking about and seriously discussing, as Minister Ray is going to share in just a few moments, what needs to change here in the city of Akron. Thank you.
My name is Zombie. I'm with Serve the People Akron. I just want to let you know what we've been witnessing as far as trying to peacefully gather. I believe it was Tuesday. We gathered at the county jail to do jail support for those who were being freed, those who were bonded out, signature or paid. We were there with the families, just trying to welcome the people back, get them information, get them any type of supplies, food, water, anything they needed. We were then let know by one of the family members who were just calling to check on their loved one that they were told that the jail was in a state of emergency and being shut down because of the protesters outside. Now at that time we were not there to even protest. We were literally there just to support people, get their information, give them legal aid, whatever we could provide for them. Next thing we know, they deployed snipers onto the roof. They put sheriffs in the doorway, stopping anybody from coming in, regardless if they were with protest or the families of protesters with us or anyone else. They were not allowed in the jail. They then began to escort the workers out to their cars. None of them would dialogue with us. We were letting them know that we were not there to disrupt. We were only there to collect our family members and offer support to them. They then began to take the released protesters and drop them off in random locations all over the city so that they were not able to contact their family members and they were not able to join with us. As that began to happen, more and more people started to show up at the jail. As night fell, they came down with the SWAT tanks, multiple members of the sheriff and the APD. They came in with tear gas. We were luckily able to get out. They did deploy more tear gas, and they actually only really got members of the press, some of which I see here today. But this just shows how they've been handling us. Like we're just there to fight for our rights, fight for our humanity, and at every turn and every chance they get, they dehumanize us, they brutalize us, they attack us. Even so far as we've had officers laughing and smirking at us as we attempt to dialogue with them, chant for Jalen Walker. I've seen police officers take signs, say justice for Jalen, throw him on the ground. I mean, it's just a total disrespect and lack of humanity when all we want to do is let them know and remind them we are humans. Like there's nothing possible that a person could do that warrants 90-something bullets being fired at them. Like there's nothing. It just, every day they let us know that they don't see us as human and that justice is not for us. Peace and protection is not for us. They are not for us. So that's why we say abolish. So yeah, I just want to encourage anybody in the community to continue to come out, continue to join us, continue to march with us. Don't let them scare you away, because that's all it is. That's all it is fear tactics. They want you to be fearful. They want you to stay in the house. They want you to shut up. They want us to stop talking about Jalen Walker, but we refuse. And that's all I have to say.
So the Department of Justice wants us to negotiate protest rules and regulations with the police. Our response to that is we have already negotiated how we will act based off the Constitution. The Constitution gives us a legal right for nonviolent civil disobedience, and they have disrespected the Constitution. So before we negotiate with any terrorist group like the APD, the city of Akron, or the mayor, this is our statement from the organizers on the ground, from the Freedom Bloc, from Serve the People Akron, and from DSA Akron. This is our statement. We are not here to have a conversation when we are under militarized occupation, while there are guns pointed at us, tear gas and pepper spray choking us. We are here to seek accountability. Residents of Akron and surrounding communities are being hurt and are dying. The local police have waged war on peaceful protesters and innocent neighbors. It is the police who have escalated every step of the way. Disarm and demilitarize all local police entities and forces. We cannot have negotiations or conversations until there is immediate and long-lasting accountability. Therefore, we demand the establishment of an independent Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate Jayland Walker's murder and others killed by the Akron Police Department. This commission will be composed of independent investigators, residents of Akron, and other individuals agreed upon by the community. Release the names of all officers involved in the murder of Jayland Walker.
Period.
Cut their administrative leave. Fire them and prosecute them immediately. Abolish the deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets, as stated in the City Code Section 3517. Disarm any police or security forces deployed to meet protests or assemblies. Release all memorandums of understanding and current in-place contracts between the City of Akron and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 7 and regional branch of the Fraternal Order of Police. Legislate that future contract negotiations of FOP Lodge 7 will be public. Release a financial breakdown of all expenditures of dollars contracts executed to meet protesters' assemblies over the last week, which is public records that we cannot get at this time. Legislate the abolish of curfews. Legislate the abolishment of police chases. Eliminate traffic stops for all traffic violations. Legislate the immediate release of all officer-involved incidents. Stop arresting peaceful protesters.
Yes.
Immediately, right now, release all protesters from all jails and holding institutions. Right now. Expunge the records and clear the bail and fines for all those arrested for protesting all of this week. Right now. Create a citizen review board for the police with power to subpoena members selected strictly by local organizers. Create a citizen-led commission to study and strategize the defunding and abolition of the police department, municipal holding centers, and jails with the consideration of the following. Strategize the creation of a participatory budget within the City of Akron, operating the capital budgeting process. These budgets should directly reinvest funds into reparations, housing, public transportation, food security, physical and mental health care, and community-controlled public safety alternatives. Members must be selected strictly by local grassroots organizations, including those listed in this press conference. The funds appropriated for the Akron Police Department should be democratically controlled by the people of Akron through a said participatory budget process. Failure to negotiate on these terms will likely escalate community unrest and unfortunately will perpetuate a culture of violence by the police forces. A coalition of members from the Freedom Bloc, Akron Democratic Socialists of America, and Serve the People Akron composed this letter in response to a representative from the U.S. Department of Justice seeking negotiations between local leadership and on-the-ground organizers. We do not feel said negotiations were in good faith and merely lip service to get us to calm down. We will no longer remain calm. Therefore, if further conversations occur, representatives from the Freedom Bloc, Akron Democratic Socialists of America, and Serve the People Akron will lead the next negotiation meeting. This meeting will take place at the Akron Summit Public Library at 60 South High Street, Akron, Ohio, 44326 at an agreed upon time. Responses to this request can be referred to the Freedom Bloc's office and myself. We're here at 848 West Exchange Street. We are not leaving until we see justice. We will accept 2 questions from each reporter at this time. Yes.
Hi, Raymond. A couple things. Can you expound or someone talk about what happened last night with Breonna Taylor's aunt and with Jacob's dad? What exactly happened?
What exactly happened is they were peacefully protesting and the APD assaulted them and then arrested them for assaulting them and then took them, one to the hospital and one to jail. And that's what happened.
Do you know what they were charged with? And
right now,
the police said that they were
Rioting.
Rioting. And we have video to prove that it wasn't rioting. All the videos is on our social media. Next. Thank you all for coming out.
Can I ask you a few more if anybody else has any?
We're going to take questions outside. You can talk to individual members of this panel once we leave, but right now this press conference is over. Thank you.